Barnes to get things underway and throws a lovely strike first up.
Back in business here. This crowd has been treated to a real power play.
Welcome to the Weber Cup, the annual bowling showdown between the very best from Europe and the finest from America. The stage is set, the players primed, the 19th edition of this tournament is underway and living up to expectations. With 4 matches played so far, it's the American team who have the most to smile about.
Team USA always seem to do better than Team Europe in Baker matches. But an open frame has more or less gifted this first Baker match to Team Europe. Oh, Barrett's got that ball working, that wraps it up. Truth doesn't look like he's going to make any mistakes at the moment. He is absolutely dialed on. Well, we're having our first nail biter pretty early here, aren't we? Oh my goodness, he's got it. But with a huge slice of luck.
USA won and Europe won.
Looking for a magnificent 7. Well, what can you do about this?
Just crazy scores.
It really is. Oh, it's gone, it's gone. It thought about it, it was slow motion and it went. And that could be the pin that secures the win. It was close to perfection from Anthony Simonson.
He hasn't quite worked the lane out just yet.
Oh, what he can't do is that. Now that's a mental mistake. And there we go. That's over right there, and a look of absolute horror on the face of Martin Larsson. And it's been an easy night for Chris Barnes, who has helped steer the United States to 3 straight victories in singles competition.
4 matches down, and it's America who have the early advantage, coming back from defeat in the team match to win 3 singles in a row. Can they extend their streak? That'll be down to Tommy Jones, who faces Stu Williams and then Dom Barrett in singles action. But before that, a quick reminder of the rules of tenpin. Tony Wrighton now explains.
The lane is 42 inches wide and 60 foot long to the headpin, bordered by 2 gutters. The lane is applied with an oiling pattern, which reduces friction between the ball and the lane. Lane patterns can vary and can aid the bowler at times. The lane approach is 15 to 17 feet. There's a foul line between the approach and the lane. If a player touches or slides over this line after they've delivered the ball, it's called as a foul and no pins are scored. A full game is made up of 10 frames with up to 2 balls each frame. Knocking all 10 pins down with the first bowl is called a strike. Scoring 3 consecutive strikes is called a turkey. If a bowler doesn't score a strike, a second ball is thrown to clear other standing pins. If successful, this is called a spare. Failing to clear all pins with 2 balls is called an open frame. Sometimes pins are left standing at opposite ends of the pin deck. This is called a split and often results in an open frame. If scores are tied after 10 frames in this tournament, players will bowl off a 2-frame roll-off with the game scores scratched. The bowler's ultimate goal is a perfect 300 game, which is the maximum 10 strikes in a row. The Weber Cup has seen 6 perfect games in total, the last 2 being by Team USA in 2013.
So it's a 10-frame match with a strike worth 30 points and the maximum score being the magical 300. A spare is 10 points plus the pinfall of the first shot in the frame and actual pinfall after 2 shots in an open frame. Coming up now, match number 5, Williams versus Jones.
The Weber Cup is one of my favorite events of the year. I didn't get to bowl the last 2 years, so I'm glad to be back. Raising that trophy at the end of the event means more to me than anything else with wearing red, white, and blue. So hopefully we can do that again this year and see what happens.
I was saying to a few people this week that it's amazing. We go to Italy and people are telling me they can barely speak English and they're telling me about the Weber Cup, and then we go to Hungary and people are talking about the Weber Cup, and of course it's huge in Sweden now as well with Martin and Jesper bowling. So yeah, it's a huge event and it really feels like the whole of the continent of Europe pulls for us this week.
The first team to 19 wins, the US currently leading 3-1. Let's join our commentators Cass Edwards and Nick Halling.
Well, the Americans looking very different already than they did at the end of that Baker match when they were all a little bit here, there and everywhere. Well, they have all been firmly online ever since. Simonson 278 leading the way, Troop 266, Barnes 255, big scores, winning scores. And their quartet is rounded out by the man who will play the next 2 matches for them, Mr. 300 himself, Tommy Jones.
Just the way to start if you're going to shoot a 300 game.
And we are long overdue. No 300 games in the Weber Cup since 2013. 6 in total, 5 of them from Americans, 4 of them from that man right there. Well, we're going to see another one this weekend.
Well, Nick, luckily enough, in the 17 years I've been doing this, I've seen all 6 300 games. The first one obviously coming from Paul Moore, people may remember. But as you say, the others from Americans.
Williams a little bit unfortunate there with that 10 tucked in the corner.
Yeah, absolutely rattled it, didn't it? It wobbled but didn't want to go over. It was a nice looking shot, but early days yet.
Well, that rather sums up the session so far for the Europeans. As you say, not a lot wrong with the shot, but leaves one standing, takes it, but he'll be chasing this one early, and you just get the sense that Tommy Jones, who knows what it takes to win a Weber Cup, and it's been a long time since that happened, of course. And I think Chris Barnes had too many doubts when he put his team together that Tommy Jones was going to be part of the equation. And you just know, we've seen it, that he is capable of ripping up a 300 game any time.
Yeah, he's had 34 300s on the PBA Tour in his career. 2007, 8 and 9 were the 300 games that he bowled, and another one in 2013.
Well, there's not going to be one here. We give him the big build-up and he does that.
We'll have to have words with him. Yeah, we did build him up, didn't we? But this one's crossed the head pin to the left-hand side. Leaves that small split on the right side of the lane, the 3 and the 10 pin. It's a very makeable spare.
I was going to say, you just took the words out of my mouth. Very makeable, but how often do we see him missed? He's got to be accurate with this. There's no margin for error.
Yeah, the ball can fit between the 2 pins quite comfortably.
And he's missed it. Well, now, what on earth is that all about? That was very makeable, and that shouldn't have happened. And he knows that.
Yes, an early error from TJ, Tommy Jones. And the other unusual thing about this is that, as Guy Kaminsky said, he's bowling 2 games in a row, but in between the games, there is a lane dressing taking place. So he's actually playing on what they call the burn at the moment, where the lane has been used for 3 games, and then he'll be going on to a freshly dressed one.
Well, Williams
and Stewart comes wide and leaves the 2-8-10.
Really wide.
Good grief. Just didn't get up to the head pin at all to make the pocket.
Now that's really frustrating for Stu Williams, because this was the door wide open. Instead, it looks like we are heading for back-to-back open frames, 1 apiece. This will have to be nothing short of miraculous to clear them all out. We're never going to take that 10. That's a missed opportunity right there.
Yeah, it certainly was. The ball just didn't get up, have the drive to get up to the head pin, and consequently left the 2-8 with the 10 pin. Very, very difficult spare for a right-hander.
So Jones can breathe a sigh of relief that that open frame hasn't cost him too much. And let's see how he comes back. Yeah, that was a lot more like it, wasn't it?
Well, just the absolute ideal way to come back from an open frame, not only by himself, but Williams as well. Blast 30 pins right through the 1-3 pocket there. Pins sail to the back of the pin deck. Even if Williams strikes here, he's still going to be 11 pins adrift. So very much pressure on him. He needs to start a string of strikes right now.
No, it's that 10 again, and it's not going to find a messenger taking it out either.
Well, there's a lot of power going into those shots. I mean, the way the ball is hitting in the pocket, maybe just a fraction light there because the 6 pins laid flat in the gutter, and we call that a flat 10. Just didn't get the reaction off the 3-6 pins to take the 10 pin away.
Well, he's well behind here early. That's the good news, it's early. And the bad news is Jones is a great front runner, up by 22 already.
Welcome back to Arena MK for the Weber Cup. It's the 5th match. Tommy Jones of Team USA has taken a narrow lead, hoping to build on his team's brilliant opening to this year's tournament. Commentary comes from Cass Edwards and Nick Halling.
So is it a double for Tommy Jones? Yes, it is, and flush in the pocket, a perfect pocket hit.
3 strikes out of 4. Fraction high on the head pin, but that doesn't matter. It's a fast 10. Pressure very much now back on Stu Williams.
Well, it's early, but this is already starting to look like an American runaway here. It's got to be a strike or nothing else, really. And it's only frame 4. But spares aren't going to get this one won. Oh, would you believe it? He's gone the other way.
I can't believe that, and I don't think Stuart can either.
That's extraordinary.
That really was a good-looking shot. 1-3 pocket, absolutely blasted the rack. The 10 pin's gone, but look, the 7 pin stood there. Everything's flying around it, and he can't believe that. And I must admit, I was kind of flabbergasted myself, but it can only be a spare. He's gone 4 frames without a strike.
And 3 of them have been 9 spares, corner pins. And none of them were exactly bad first shots either. He's had no luck at all.
I'm just wondering what adjustments he's going to make. I mean, as you say, he's flashed the pocket 3 times out of 4. I mean, that's not too bad, and I don't see where he's going to make an improvement.
No, there's not a lot you'd change. And there's absolutely nothing Tommy Jones will change after these last 2 shots.
Yeah, this is a big, important ball coming up here. Another 30 pins will take a massive lead over Williams.
Well, the lead is 33 at the moment, and it's not going to get any narrower. In fact, it might get wider. Turkey there for TJ.
He can't hit a 300, but he can hit a 279 if he strikes out. And I wouldn't put that past Tommy Jones.
Well, this time he was not in the pocket. And this is starting to unravel for Team Europe at the moment.
Yeah, I think Stu tightened his line up there, came in from the right-hand side, played a straighter looking shot. Still with plenty of rotation, but unfortunately high in the pocket. He's a little bit all at sea just at the moment. He's not getting the ball reaction that he's looking for off this lane. A spare he takes, but a spare is no good.
Against an opponent who has hit 4 out of 5 strikes.
So what is he, 45 pins adrift now. Well, here comes the latest bit of ammunition. It's a change of ball for Stu Williams on next frame. He's got nothing to lose. Jones has just got to keep clean, and if he takes a strike, then he takes a strike. But he's far enough ahead to, I wouldn't say relax, but as long as he stays clean, he's bound to hit some more strikes as well.
Well, it's halfway, and that lead, I'm afraid, looks unassailable, barring a complete mental breakdown from Tommy Jones, and I don't think anyone's expecting that. Well, that wasn't the best shot, and actually, that's the one he missed earlier.
Yeah, it's the 310. It was a bit unfortunate to lose the. Sorry, it's the 210. A bit unfortunate to lose the 6-pin out in the middle.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
So he's got to make a split. He's got to be a bit more accurate. He really doesn't want an open frame. And you can look at Tommy's ball, you can see how much oil there is coming
There's
back.
no way he's missing this twice. No way.
Hey ho.
Let's see. See, I know this game.
Well spotted, Nick. By the way, you're playing the next game. Slides the ball in between, gets the deflection from the 3-pin onto the 10.
Tommy Jones is sitting there saying, well, I should have done that the first time as well. That first miss was on him. It wasn't going to happen twice. Williams just can't find these corner pins, can he? Another one.
Well, it wobbled. I think if someone had opened the door and a gust of wind had come in, that may well have gone, but it was slightly light in the pocket. 6-pin lays in the gutter. It's called the flat 10 and can only be a spare. And Stu's gone 6 frames without a strike.
The lead is plus 50 with 4 frames to go. Well, as we've said earlier, though, there is no such thing as just wasted frames here. Williams has got to use these 4 frames to just find something to take into the rest of the sessions. And Martin Larson had his own problems. He was chipping in with a bit of a contribution there.
Yeah, I think Stu's thrown the white flag in, the white towel. Oh, we've got a power outage in the arena.
Oh. Well, it was the only way we were going to stop Tommy Jones. That's it. OK, we'll have to just replay this again from the start.
Well, let's, yeah, absolutely. And Stu's discussing what's going wrong with his ball as it comes off the oiling pattern. Something else is now going on down there.
And after all that, we can get back in business. Tommy Jones is comfortably ahead of this one as we go into frame 7. Yeah, well, the delay didn't bother him, did it? Didn't put him off one little bit.
Certainly didn't. Certainly didn't. And it was just a fraction light in the pocket, but it's carried all 10. He's mixed those pins up. Got the chain reaction he was looking for. Extends his lead.
Would you believe this?
Stu can't buy a strike. He's changed the ball, he's changed his line, he's changed his speed, and it's still leaving corner pins.
There's nothing else to change, is there? I mean, he shuffled the pack completely.
It's amazing that all the pins just jump around that 7-pin.
And it's not always just been the 7. I mean, it's just as much the 10 on the other side. I mean, this is just an absolutely mystifying game for Stu Williams.
Yeah, 55 adrift with 3 frames to go. I wouldn't put any money on Stu coming back from this one.
Well, it looks like 4 out of 4 then for the Americans, who really are flying here. And the one thing you know is Chris Barnes will be saying, keep your foot flat down. Well, he's left himself a tricky little spare to deal with there, so the spell ends, but there's really no way back for Europe in this one.
Yeah, 3 pins left, the 2-4-5. He'll go straight at these. I'd spare it quite easily, but 55 pins adrift is too much for anybody.
All he's got to do is just make sure he's accurate with the head pin of those three. And those will be dealt with as they were comfortably.
Okay, so Stuart's having a bad game.
Is he having a bad game or is he having an out of luck game?
Well, he's not getting the reaction he wants. So we'll write it off.
And you could see he was experimenting there. I mean, that was clearly just seeing if there's another line to be taken there, because he knows this one's over.
Yeah, that's very much. Yeah, he's looking for some shape. This one's over. He's going to experiment. Don't write him off. There's a long way to go. There's a lot more games. And Stuart will be playing lots of them as well.
I'll tell you what.
He averaged 247 last year in his singles. And okay, so he's got a bad one this time, but there's plenty of time for him to come back.
Well, this is a real challenge looming here for Dom Barrett, because he is seeing his Team Europe team put together back-to-back sub-200 games. Now that's worrying, and it's a real test of his captaincy right here, because there's an early crisis looming here for Dom Barrett and Team Europe.
Well, yes, indeed. I know it's only session 1 of 5. I think Tommy's just changed his ball here. He knows the game's won, so who's going to be looking?
He can experiment, yeah.
He can experiment, because the next game which he's playing will be after a new lane dressing.
And it will be Barrett that will be up for Europe.
Yeah, so there's a few things that are going to change from this game. As I say, Tommy's just shot a different ball. There'll be another lane dressing. It'll be a different player. And Dom's probably been sitting out for the last hour and a half.
Looking on in dismay at what's been going on.
Well, and has not been bowling, so he's not going to be warmed up.
Well, Barrett did bowl a 254 game in that losing effort against Troop. And Svensson a 256, but Larson and now Williams have had a real tough ride.
Well, that almost summed up the whole game, doesn't it?
Yeah, really.
7-10 split standing there, and a message has taken the tenpin away. But this is frame 9.
If there's a bad break to be had in this match, Stu Williams has had it. I mean, this was nearly, as you say, the real final insult. But it's been corner pin after corner pin after corner pin for Stu Williams.
Well, it's 9 frames in a row without a strike.
I mean, that is incredible. Stu Williams, 1 frame away from not having a strike in an entire match. That's unheard of.
Pretty much so, yeah. Stu is a natural strike maker out on the professional tour in the United States. Although he's not won a big tournament for quite a few years, but he's always there when it comes to cashing.
Well, Jones is just experimenting and playing now. I don't think he expected this to be quite the easy ride it's turned out to be. I mean, he's taken the last 2 frames off.
He could certainly afford to. You can see by Jones's ball, there's still lots of oil out on that lane. It will now be stripped. And there's the spare, the 2 and the 10 from Jones, just showing off. Great score of 231. It's much too much for Stu Williams.
Trick shot then from Tommy Jones. Is it going to be a treat for finally Stu Williams? The strike comes in the very last frame, but that is a really disappointing performance from Williams, who just got absolutely bamboozled by those corner pins. Over and over again they denied him.
Tommy Jones strikes another blow for Team USA. They now lead 4-1 in the series. Comment and reaction after the break. Welcome back to Arena MK, where Tommy Jones has just guided his American team to yet another point at this year's Weber Cup, to the disappointment of Stu Williams, who's now talking to Hannah Wilkes.
Stu, we're so used to you coming to the Weber Cup and putting on a brilliant show. What went wrong there? Yeah, I mean, I think Europe get off to pretty slow starts on Friday night quite often, and it doesn't usually affect the overall outcome of the event. So we'll see. You know, we've had a little chat about what we see, and hopefully we've made the right ideas. And Dominic can go out in this match against Tommy and wrestle back some of the momentum for us.
The lane's just been re-oiled. Who does that favour, do you think?
Who knows? I mean, I'm going to say Dom because he's my guy. So Dom, that's who it favours.
And what is it about the Weber Cup? It's such a special tournament, and obviously we've got these returning big American names. There's definitely a feeling of like rejuvenation amongst their team. How do you counter that with a team that's been together so long and maybe hasn't quite got that kind of new combination energy?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily new combination energy. I think that, you know, they got off to a good start. They've won 4 games in a row, but if Dom wins this one, and then we've got the fan vote, and I'm kind of liking our chances in that game as well. So then it's 4-3, and they've put in a lot of energy to be up by 1 point. So things can change pretty quickly in these sessions. And also tomorrow we've got the doubles coming up, and usually Saturday in the doubles is pretty good for our group. And finding those pairings is usually quite difficult when you're a new group.
There is an ominous amount of red on the leaderboard. Good news if you're American, they've now won 4 of the opening 5 matches. For Europe, who've won this tournament for the last 5 years, the pressure is on. Can they give the score a little more parity? Let's find out as Dom Barrett steps up to take on the returning Tommy Jones.
Been very fortunate to bowl a few 300s here at the Weber Cup. It's always great to do it for the fans. They seem to get behind us here. They're unbelievable here in England and everywhere that we come over and bowl for in the UK. So, you know, it means a lot to us, and it means a lot to them for them to see it. So I would love to give them another 300 this year.
The first couple of sessions, you're sort of battling for position, trying to get as many points as you can, trying to figure out the lane a little bit, trying to get comfortable. Even though we've done this so many years, it still takes a few games to get comfortable on the lane and the environment that we have to compete in.
Can the European skipper add a much-needed point to the board for his team? Let's find out with Guy Kaminski and Nick Halling.
Oh, look at that, as a corner pin standing up just as it did for Stuart Williams all match long, it seemed. That 10 didn't want to know.
Yeah, those are the finer details you've got to try and work out. But the first shot, I think, you see that's advantage. We can spin it either way, Nick. We can keep saying the advantage and disadvantage. But essentially, when you come in cold, you only get a couple practice shots. It's really not sufficient. We would normally get 5-10 minutes in a tournament to get warm. So that 9 can really just be down to just be not properly warm yet. Now, Tommy's coming in here, absolutely perfect. So it'll be interesting to see how his first shot goes.
Well, we said it earlier in his last match that he's capable of a 300 anywhere, anytime. 4 of them in the Weber Cup out of 6 in total. And we do feel we are due a 300 this weekend. And this is the man you'd back to deliver one. And he starts off with a rather fortuitous one.
Wow, that's really an amazing break. That was an awful delivery that. He cut it short and went straight through the head pin.
Did you see his reaction when he sat down? He knew it.
Yeah. But this is what happens in sport. When it's going your way, everything starts going your way. And I mean, yeah, he won't be too panicked this early in the game, but obviously he'll be worried that the lane's obviously a bit different to what he'd been playing on 5 minutes ago.
Barrett takes that very wide line and it doesn't kick back, and a nasty split to deal with early.
Yeah, we saw that similar kind of thing happen in the other matches where the ball just doesn't hook there. You think you've got it in the right place, it all looks good. You're expecting the ball to make the 1-3 pocket and just doesn't make it. Happened a couple of times, a bit strange. But that's all it takes for your confidence to go from sky high to rock bottom in the blink of an eye. It's such a hard thing to explain to people watching it. You can be like, how can the ball before be so good? And like Stu, he looks so good. You make a couple bad shots, it gets in your head, and all of a sudden you look up, it's the 8th frame and you haven't made a strike yet.
And there is a huge mental element to this game as well, isn't there? You have to be so resilient mentally. You don't get too high when it's going well, but you can't beat yourself up when it's been going badly.
Yeah, I think this game's basically played, but you know, the 6 inches between your ears. That's what I really believe. Obviously, all these guys are really good. They're all, you know, they've all got their attributes. I think the reality, what separates them is, you know, the mental. It's all about mental ability. This guy, the reason why he's bowled 300s on this lane is because he's got the bottle, I can tell you. He's a man for a big moment.
Oh, he's tough as tungsten, and if the first strike was a little bit lucky, that was straight out the top drawer, that was. Well, early days. The 300 is on, though, for Tommy Jones.
Yeah, and you actually alluded to it earlier, and you said, you know, if they win the 2 points, it's a long way away. It's now looking very distant. It's looking like 5-1 right now at the gate.
Finally gets the strike. Well, it is early enough in the match for Barrett to start making a comeback, but he's going to need Jones to let him in, and that wasn't the greatest pocket hit.
Yeah, so when you're watching at home, you may not have noticed, but he just changed bowling ball. Now, when you've been out there, you've already played a couple shots. The lane pattern is the same, although it's freshly oiled, it's still the same pattern. If you, in the 3rd frame, you're not changing ball, you're trying to change ball speed, or you're trying a different part of the lane, it's all signs that you haven't quite settled in yet. And, you know, America really sees in the moment.
Well, he's in control here at the moment, Jones. That last one was a perfect pocket hit, and you wouldn't change anything about that shot. He's off to a flyer here, TJ.
Yeah, and Chris said, he, you know, after last year when they, although he wasn't sure, but they got up to that early lead and then gave it all back. He wants the guys to be ruthless this year. That's their motto. They would really want to not let Europe back in the door, and they're not letting up, I can tell you.
I don't get the sense, as you say, the Americans will happily settle for a 19-15 win or something. If they can get a 19-5 win, they'll take it. Barrett right now has to strike, and does. That's his best shot.
Yeah, that looked really good. Yeah, so that, yeah. You can see he's nodding there to the guys. He's really happy with the ball change, and he now seems to, yeah. That's also the thing. It's hard enough trying to make good shots, but also if you aren't committed to what you're trying to do, what should be the shape, where should I be playing, what ball, all those little gremlins start to show in your bowling swing. You don't make as good a swing as you should be.
I tell you, everybody loves the innovation of the fan vote for the 7th match, possibly except Dom Barrett, because he would like to be able to control that, especially with a couple of his teammates really struggling at the moment. And if there's a lot of American fans engaging in that vote, there'll be a lot going to Stu Williams and Martin Larson. As for the Americans, though, well, there is no weak link. There is nobody struggling at the moment. Well, he struggled now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hang on a minute. What went wrong? That just seemed to skid through.
Yeah, that really hooked up. That was a bit similar to that first frame shot that we saw. Here it comes here. Yeah, he just missed his mark left. You can see it was a bit tight. And the ball hooked up and went straight through the nose and gave him an ugly split. I'm sure Dom was saying he deserved that after the good break he got in the first frame.
Yes, so. Absolutely. They do. The pins do remember, don't they?
Yeah, I'm sure at the end of your lifespan, when you add up all the good breaks and the bad breaks, I think you're pretty much back to square.
Welcome back to the 19th Weber Cup, where the USA have claimed 4 of the opening 5 matches. This is now the 6th. Tommy Jones currently leads the European captain Dom Barrett by 11 pins. Commentary from Nick Halling and Guy Kaminsky.
I absolutely love this format, because 2 frames ago it looked like Dom was dead and buried, and now it looks like he's on top of the match.
He is. He's right in it.
Yeah, and just, you know, you got to give these guys such credit that, you know, the first 2 frames didn't look good. He didn't wait around. He went straight to his teammates, got some advice, changed the ball, and look at the difference it's made. It just, yeah, it's incredible.
Well, I'll double check my maths with you, but if this is a 9 spare, we're level. And
Yep.
Jones looked unassailable.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm saying it. I mean, that was the first 2 frames. We've had 2 more, and it's completely swung, you know, it's incredible, 180. It just, yeah, it's a brilliant format in terms of when you get these matches that can be so close. I mean, barring Stu's last match, but these matches all tend to go down to the wire.
Oh, he's used up another little chunk of luck there, and he knows it. He is not happy with himself here, is he?
Yeah, because that actually could have been a split too. He really got away with that one. That ball's really hooked up to the nose. So I think he knows that he should be, you know, either he's going to move his feet a bit left or just get that ball a bit further away from the pocket.
So not only has he got Barrett in his slipstream, he's also having difficulties with the lane now, Tommy Jones. Very different last couple of frames. Now, what Barrett's got to do here is stay in touch and keep the pressure on. It's another much better looking shot. Well, Barrett has definitely got his line sorted out now. That's a four-bagger for the European skipper.
Yeah, looking really good here, Dom. And you can see a lot of nodding going on to his teammates. He's really comfortable now in the lane. So now the thing for him, all he has to focus on is just making good shots. That's all he has to do.
We've seen conversations going on all evening. On both sides, it has to be said. And we've got a question mark now against Tommy Jones. Yes, he got a strike last time, but he was not in the pocket before that. A bad shot that left an open frame. So we're getting a few highs and lows from Tommy Jones. How he would love a high right here. What's he got? Well, well, well.
He's been flirting with it. I mean, it's just, yeah, I'm afraid that I want to say like he deserved it, but yeah.
It's not a shock that it's arrived, I think is what you're saying. This has been coming.
Yeah, it's been coming. All of them have been, in fact, he's bowled 6 frames. 4 of them have actually been high, you know. So, I mean, yeah, which is unusual. I mean, I think, in a sense, you don't want to change too quickly, but maybe he hasn't made a change soon enough. I don't think he saw the writing on the wall really quick enough there. But that can also happen from playing the previous game. If, you know, you think, well, it worked before, it should still keep working. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work once you re-oil the lanes. And under lights, the lane changes really quickly.
Well, that's changed the scoreboard, hasn't it? And Jones, 2 out of 3 open frames, and the strike in the middle was a very streaky one indeed. So he is right off the boil at the moment.
Yeah, so basically it's up to TJ to make a change now. He's got to do something different. You can see he's thinking about something, where Dominic has not anything he's thinking about is putting another 10 back.
Well, is this a 5-bagger for Barrett? No, the 10 has said sorry.
Yeah, good shot though.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, really good. I mean, since that ball change, that first one was a little bit high, but those last 4 shots have been absolutely perfect.
Well, this now officially too close to call again.
Yeah, I want to say I think I'm with Stuart in his corner for the moment. It looked like it's going to be a 4-2 with potentially they win the last one 4-3. I mean, it sounds crazy, but if USA go home tonight 4-3, they're going to be disappointed.
That'll actually feel like a loss.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the momentum is all with Europe for tomorrow. I mean, you know, in the position they've been in, I think it'll be criminal if they go home 4-3. So all smiles in the USA camp, and just we keep saying it, but I want to keep saying it. Just he's really brought the group together, Chris.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a totally different look from the last couple of years.
And just as a player, if you're out there, it's so nice to have, you know, just gives it that air of confidence, you know, knowing your teammates are there with you.
That's a typical response from Tommy Jones. That really is his best shot in quite a while.
Yeah, that's his best shot in 4. That's for sure. Yeah, that ball definitely got a bit out further to the right. He gave himself some more space for the ball to turn into the pocket there. But in saying that, we got a 1-pin game here.
Oh, this is, I mean, you always feel sorry for Dom Barrett in this situation, because when he was up earlier against Kyle Troop, I mean, he lost that very narrowly. He was only a pin or 2 down all the way, ended up losing by 12. He was right in it, and it's single pins that did him in that one, and single pins might be doing him again here.
Yeah, you never really mind losing 1 game that's close. You lose 2 games that gets close, and then all of a sudden you start thinking, you know, why me?
Well, especially when you bowl a 250 and lose.
This game won't be far behind it either. This could be a 240 game.
What he's got to avoid is a mental mistake, a missed single pin.
Yeah, it's not something we see every day besides Martin missing an earlier
Well,
match.
it does happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You know, a guy's beating himself up for a bad shot, or he's thinking about the next frame, or, you know, this is easy, I've done this a million times, and yeah, they do get missed.
Yeah, you have to give every shot all your attention. The second that you start, like you say, thinking about the next frame or the next thing, that's how those things happen. A big shot here for TJ now. Just in this match alone, it's only one game. It swung. This is the third swing we have.
Yeah.
It was all TJ, then it went all back to Dom, and now I want to say it's all back to Tommy.
Well, if he can come out of this with a win, having had 2 open frames and a very streaky strike as well, I mean, he and the Americans will be thinking, yeah, how can we lose? It's another strike. He is in control. That is frame 8. There is no time left, really. Barrett's got to strike out and hope for the best.
Yeah, I'm afraid that it's do or die time for Dom. He has to put 2 strikes in and hope he gets a gap from Tommy. He's really bowled a great game. In fact, I think he's bowled a better game than Tommy has.
I mean, you know, with Stewart, you could look at all those single pins. With Martin, he just had one of those games. But Barrett has not bowled badly here. That's gone a bit wide, but it's taken all 10. He did what it had to do.
And that's a great shot. I mean, he's bowled a great game here. I mean, it's not over by any stretch of the imagination. It's all to play for, and he's keeping the pressure on Jones. And that's what the good players do. They hang around. They just never go away. It's amazing. And that's how they win tournaments, because someone makes a mistake and they're there waiting to capitalize.
Some players are good front runners. Some players are uncomfortable with a narrow lead. I think the level of player that we've got here in the Weber Cup, they're all pretty comfortable.
You know what's also going to help Tommy, Nick, is there's no scoreboard pressure in terms of the score being 4-1. You know you can afford to lose a game. Not that anyone wants to lose a game, but you're thinking, well, it's 4-1. Dom's thinking, I have to win this for my team. There's scoreboard pressure on Dom.
Well, the strike keeps Tommy Jones in control of this one, and he gets it. Well, there's no celebration, there's no fist pumping, looking at his teammates. This is a strictly business face that we are seeing from Tommy Jones. Look at that minimal reaction, and back to the chair.
Yeah, but what Dom has to do here is he must strike and force Tommy to get non-spare or strike to win. You want your opposition to earn victories. You don't want to give a victory.
It's the last frame.
This is very big. He has to strike to force Tommy to do something in the 10th.
And would you believe it? It's the same old story again. Well, it started with a 9 spare, and it's ended with a 9 spare for Dom Barrett. And it looks like defeat number 5 in a row for Team Europe.
Yeah, so any spare will work here for Tommy. Well, basically 9 pins, well, 8, 7, 8, 7's a tie basically for 235. He's got 228 already. So 7 pins will give him a tie, 8 will give him the guaranteed win, doesn't even need the spare. Nice position to be in now, I can tell you.
Wow.
4-1 on the scoreboard, only need 8.
I think the vast majority of club players right now are sitting there saying, yeah,
Pick me.
I'll get 8 here.
Yeah.
Hey, I might get 8 on a good day.
Yeah, and he's got 2 balls to get the 8 too, which is great. So I really don't think it's too difficult for him.
He's not even thinking about that.
Yeah,
He's taken the 9, and that is that, and it is 5 in a row. Back-to-back wins for Tommy Jones. So the gamble that skipper Chris Barnes made in putting him in for back-to-back games has paid off. And Jones takes the single pin as well. He's not very happy with himself. He knows that could have got away from him. As it is, he's got the win though.
5 red blocks on the leaderboard show what an outstanding start the US have made to this year's Weber Cup, coming back from defeat in the opening Baker match to claim 5 wins on the bounce. Next time out, it's the fans' choice match, where the public vote for the singles game they most want to see. Who will they choose? We'll find out when the Weber Cup returns.